All right, welcome back, focused learners. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's explainer. We are literally rewinding the clock through 300,000 years of human history today, all to understand the incredibly rapid technological changes we're living through right now. We'll be looking at the whole shebang, from the very first stone tools all the way to the explosion of artificial intelligence, decoding the hidden rules that govern exactly how civilizations level up.
Okay, let's dive right into this with a massive burning question that really frames our entire analysis today. Think about it. Is AI just another tool? You know, like the plow, the steam engine, or your smartphone? Or are we crossing a threshold into a fundamental break in human history, something totally unprecedented? To answer that, we really have to look deeply at how and why societies change in the first place.
I want you to listen to this heavy-hitting quote from our source material. It says, "The AI revolution is automating cognitive processing and decision-making itself, transitioning from physical mechanization to cognitive automation." We aren't just talking about faster computers here. We're talking about a massive shift from machines that replace our muscles to machines that replicate our minds. The stakes of our current era are absolutely staggering.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the engine of history, covering 300,000 years of sociotechnical transitions.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're dealing with, the extreme velocity of scaling throughout human history. Think about this. The hunter-gatherer era lasted for roughly 290,000 years. The agricultural revolution, about 7,000 years. The industrial revolution spanned roughly 200 years. But the AI age, its major paradigm shifts are literally being measured in months. We are seeing a compression of time between civilizational eras that is completely unprecedented.
So how exactly do we jump from one era to the next? Well, anthropological theory shows us this isn't just random. It's like a giant puzzle operating in a predictable, nonlinear feedback loop. First, a society develops a novel scientific insight. Second, they turn that into a technological artifact, like a stone spear or a steam engine. Third, this new tool allows them to capture a higher gradient of energy from their environment. And fourth, that energy surplus sustains immense population growth. But here's the catch. As populations grow, they push societies to their absolute environmental limits. This sparks massive socio-ecological crises until we are essentially forced to invent our way out and upscale all over again.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Industrial Playbook, why transitions happen.
Seriously, ask yourself, why do these massive transitions actually happen? What specific mechanisms push an entire society to just abandon their old ways of life and adopt completely radical new technologies? I mean, it doesn't happen just because the shiny new technology exists, right?
Let's combine two economic models to build a complete picture here. Robert Allen points out that the Industrial Revolution kicked off in Britain because of a perfect storm. You had high human wages combined with incredibly cheap surface coal. So it became highly profitable to substitute expensive human labor with capital-intensive machines. Meanwhile, Joel Mokir's theory notes you also need the human capital, the highly skilled artisans capable of actually building those machines. And guess what? This dual dynamic is exactly what we are seeing today. We have the high cost of skilled cognitive labor, like software engineering or legal drafting, paired with incredibly cheap computing power.
And just like industrialization, this creates what economists call the barbell effect. It's a fantastic mental model. Industrial mass production hollowed out the middle tier of artisans. Standard goods became dirt cheap, while highly bespoke, luxury human craftsmanship became incredibly valuable. AI is doing the exact same thing to knowledge work today. It commoditizes the middle, standard drafting, basic analysis, routine coding, making it practically free. What remains at the premium high end is bespoke trust, taste, and deeply contextual human expertise.
All right, let's jump into Section 3, 3 lenses on AI, where we'll be viewing the present through the past.
To really wrap our heads around our present moment, we can view AI through 3 distinct historical lenses. First up, the risk lens. Here, AI looks a lot like nuclear technology. We're talking about irreversible, civilization-scale externalities that require serious, heavy-duty safety governance. Second, the transformation lens. Here, AI acts like the Industrial Revolution, operating as a general-purpose technology that completely reallocates labor and drives incredible productivity. And third, the continuity lens. AI is honestly just the next logical step in the 50-year arc of computing following PCs, the internet, and mobile phones, where we see a massive democratization of who actually gets to use the tech.
So the crucial point is that AI is subjected to the exact same recurring structural laws that govern all tech revolutions. Power concentrates while usage spreads. Billions of people gain access at the usage layer, but the capital deeply consolidates at the production and R&D layer among a few frontier companies. Meanwhile, open-source movements act like a durable counterweight to those monopolies. And, as always, we as users trade increasingly intimate dimensions of our personal privacy just for daily digital convenience.
This brings us to Section 4, Automating the Mind, the Great Divergence.
Now, here's where AI breaks away from historical norms. We mentioned a moment ago that AI is a general-purpose technology, or GPT. By definition, a GPT triggers long-term macroeconomic growth by boosting productivity and reallocating tasks, which means, yes, it destroys old jobs, but it creates entirely new complementary ones while generating systemic knowledge. So in many ways, AI is acting exactly like the steam engine or the electrical grid.
But here is where AI completely diverges. Every single past revolution, agricultural, industrial, even the information age, focused primarily on mechanizing or amplifying physical human labor. They augmented our muscle. The processing, the synthesis, the actual decision-making, that always remained strictly human. The AI revolution is fundamentally different. It's a general labor substitute that is automating processing and decision-making itself. Simply put, it is automating the mind.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that single, staggering number, 1 million. That is the number of users ChatGPT gained in just 5 days after its release in 2022. I mean, to put that into perspective, this velocity has absolutely no historical precedent. It took the agricultural revolution millennia to diffuse. The industrial revolution took centuries. The mass cognitive automation of the AI era is scaling instantaneously, completely depriving our educational and regulatory systems of the time they historically needed to adapt.
Which takes us to our final section, Section 5, the future of knowledge, redefining value and trust. So what does this actually mean for you, for your own reading, writing, and thinking habits every day? Our sources outline a 3-stage content economy. First, the production shift. Drafting becomes automated, and the marginal cost of creating content just drops to zero. Second, the product shift. We get that barbell effect again. Routine emails and reports become commodities, while highly trusted human work commands a massive premium. But it's the third stage that's the real game changer, the perception shift. As readers, knowing that standard text is cheap, we're going to stop reading just to consume prose. Instead, we'll adopt a verification-first stance, immediately hunting for provenance, citations, and underlying factual alignment.
The very meaning of text is shifting right before our eyes. A document will no longer be just some static artifact sitting on a page. It'll become an interactive, adaptive partner that you can query, translate, and dynamically adjust to your own expertise level. Because of this, human creativity is going to move away from simply typing out sentences. Instead, we'll act more like system designers, framing the constraints, heavily editing, verifying truths, and designing the guardrails for how text is produced.
Which brings us to our final provocative thought. Because AI can actually assist in generating new knowledge, it is entirely capable of entering a positive feedback loop of recursive self-improvement, literally writing its own cleaner code and optimizing its own pipelines. So I want to leave you with this. Look at the device you are watching this on right now. Are you simply wielding a new tool, the exact same way our ancestors wielded a stone spear? Or have we permanently crossed the threshold into a human-AI co-evolution, accelerating toward a technological singularity where human affairs just cannot continue in their historic form? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Stay curious, keep learning, and I'll see you next time.